either go with the current rate that we have now, which will earn you that $39,000 more, or you can just make a decision you cannot raise it. So in further budget discussions, that's off the table. So this is not obligating you to anything, it's just giving you a ceiling.
So the current year, if I'm reading this right, the current year
That we're in right now.
is less than the prior year.
Because taxable values increased. So the rollback rate technically, it brings in the same amount of money, even if we roll back the rate.
But the millage rate is
Values
lower.
increase, even though the millage rate's lower.
That's 5.8 instead of 5.9. Now, if you stick with 5.9 for right now, on our budget discussions, if everything looks rosy, and you want to go ahead and bring it down in September to the 5.8 rollback rate, you have the ability to do that. But if you pick the 5.8 now, you cannot get the extra $39,000. And it's a done deal then. But there is tough decisions, and Bill is right, there's a lot of people are all broke, and inflation's a real thing, and so we're gonna suggest some things in the budget. And just, it's easier to ease into it and give yourself some room for thought and negotiations than just no.
What'd you base the budget on? The current rate or the rollback or?
Right now, we've got a lot of estimates in there because the state of Florida is still, for all the Department of Revenue, they're saying, we'll give you real numbers in July and August. We have more than we had 2 weeks ago, but we still don't have them all. And they are still subject to change even if they give you the numbers now.
That's not what he asked.
In the budget, I just put in the current year rollback rate,
Okay,
because it's the lowest. And then if y'all chose to tell me to raise it, I could raise it, but I wanted to put it.
okay.
So you based it on the lower of the
Yeah, it
three?
did worse, like, close.
Okay.
And Bill, that's your motion to accept
Rollback.
the rollback. Okay. Second,
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry,
yes.
Mayor Kitchen.
Yes. Okay. Agenda item 6M, cancel to continue discussions regarding city of Perry's budget for fiscal year 2024, 2025.
The dates.
Sorry,
Skip that.
I checked it off again. Need to wait till we're finished before I do a check mark. Agenda item 6L, council to set public hearing dates for the fiscal year 2024, 2025 millage rate and the fiscal year 2024, 2025 budget. Take any actions deemed necessary.
So at the last meeting, we discussed the public hearing dates being September 9th, which is a Monday, and it's changing it from September 10th to the 9th for the regularly scheduled meeting. And then the second public hearing being the regularly scheduled council meeting date of September 24th. Does that still work for everyone?
September 24th.
Yes,
The
sir.
regular meeting.
I'm good with, I'm
September
good.
9th would be
Is the question.
Yeah,
changing it from the 10th to the 9th.
Yeah, 'cause I'll be 10th, I will not be here, but the 9th I will be.
I think
I've
that's.
I've already got it on my calendar for the 9th.
I just, this time we need to actually set the dates. So if that does work for everyone, we need the motion.
I make a motion that we set those dates.
Have a second?
Oh, second.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Woodball,
Yes.
Councilmember Landry,
Yes.
Mayor Ketchum.
Yes. Agenda item 6M. Council to continue discussions regarding city of Perry's budget for 2024-2025. Council to take any action deemed necessary.
So in this updated budget, the main changes from the last meeting are that we cut a lot of the capital outlay. It went from 4.2 million being funded by ARPA and reserves down to 1.9 million. I also corrected the gas revenue and resale contract amounts to get a better estimate. And then I also just wanted to let y'all know that we just received some of the revenue estimates from the state, and they aren't reflected in y'all's copy, because I got it after the fact, but, and we're still waiting on some more of the estimates. Most of it, we estimated conservatively on the revenues we budgeted so far, and so once we've got some of the numbers in it, as of where we're at right now, it increases our surplus by $224,143. But that will be reflected in your next copy.
What reserves are we using?
We don't know yet. Right now, how much is ARPA
We have 1.58 million left.
and how much in capital outlay total?
1.9.
And that's not grants, of course. That's
That's only what we're thinking would be funded by ARPA or.
So the difference is. Okay, so about 300,000.
You've got grants that we're gonna receive during the year.
That should be a wash, the grants.
I know, why is it in here?
The grants,
It ought to be in the budget.
They
the
are,
grants are, they're in,
Where's
next page.
on the capital outlay, and then it has the notes where
the revenue side?
I was told on.
The cap,
know.
right now, the capital outlay, since it's still being worked, is on the capital outlay sheet.
Let's fix the thing like it ought to be. Can you do it?
You want me to put grants?
I want you-
Yeah, I will.
Like it should be, yeah. Everything ought to be in there.
If you go to the next
It should
page,
say revenue over or under expenditures. Then it should, I have no clue why it would say total to from reserves, because that's not from reserves. All that is the same thing as revenue over or under expenditures. And, then we go down to capital outlay or and reserves. Is that one, the other, or both? If it's both, it ought to be separated. If it's one, it shouldn't say both. You understand?
this is a working draft right now.
I understand that's why we need to fix it, right? There's no new employee in here. And this,
Not much was changed because we didn't get information.
no utility increases.
No, we didn't include that in
And
there. We didn't include what's being
Yeah,
proposed tonight, those aren't.
I would like to, and I hope everybody in this room agrees with this. We've got this AARP money that we got to spend. Why on earth can't we buy a PA system that works right? And a heating and air system that works right?
That's been on the list for how many years? I was hoping this would do that.
Bill, to answer your PA question, I've contacted 3 companies that do PAs and they have not called me back. They don't want to work apparently.
They're not the only ones. Nobody wants to work anymore.
Joe,
They give people money.
Joe, look at
Tried.
those.
They tried.
Did you look at those ones I showed to you? Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I didn't want to spend the
Yeah,
money.
I'm fixing to take this one back at some point.
So you forget about it.
I'm gonna come here and take them back.
Easy, yours. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't go roughing up some of their ideas.
Either that or I'm gonna start.
Your boards.
I just brought them in here trying to get it where people could hear us. Till we did something different, I guess something different isn't
Well,
happening yet.
nothing's gonna be different unless we do something,
True.
so. Maybe we'll have a workshop, just for budget.
Do that too. Anybody got any dates in mind?
We need to discuss these, whether we're gonna raise rates or.
July, August.
So,
Well, that's next on the agenda, Bill.
I understand, but we go,
Or you want to do a workshop instead of doing it here? Is that what you're saying?
it doesn't matter to me. We can do it.
Because right now,
Yeah,
we're balanced, right? Except for $300,000. How much short are we? That's what I thought. And if you got a $300-some thousand, exactly.
I'm not in favor of raising a rate unless we got to, need to.
Wouldn't you like,
Well, I'm not either, but I think we need to get the departments being solid. And some of them are
You'll
not.
never get sewer solid.
solid waste is a goal, solid
I know.
waste is a goal.
But
Don't say
I
never.
think there ain't no way. When you're losing millions,
We're not mentioning waste.
I will propose to put 50.
Yeah, we're not to that out yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
That's the next agenda item.
They told me we would.
Y'all have
this
any,
is on it. This
what do
is
y'all have
on
any-
the budget.
This affects this.
Bill's on it. Bill said he's going for the $150 on solid waste right now.
all right,
That's still,
Just.
that is still losing money.
We're breaking, we're trying to break.
okay, you wanna just do 6M and 6M together? Sounds like they're being mixed up anyway.
Rates and budget together at a
Agenda.
workshop.
But
You wanna do a workshop on the, but you said
I'm,
workshop, what about July 30th? That's next Tuesday. Anybody okay with that?
what?
July 30th?
I'd like to do it, I mean, I don't have cows and goats in mine.
Are we doing a midday or a 5 p.m.?
What?
Midday or 5 p.m.?
Are you available?
I'm off that day, so
We had it
anytime's good.
1:30 last time.
Let's say,
130 is good.
1:30 would be great.
1:30 on the 30th?
That's state name. And
Every day spent.
I heard Bill's vibe. Well, okay.
1:30?
Yep. On budget and rates.
And make it, I will be here.
Sounds good.
All right, so y'all just want to discuss the utility rate changes at that time? That seems to make sense.
As y'all go through them, I want y'all to, I'm proposing those in the best interest of the city long term.
Yep.
I know it's not best for the residents right now. I'm looking out for the city long term. I know you're gonna have to take stuff out of there. That's fine.
Well, looking out for the city is looking out for the residents. I'd just be happy if we had clear water right this moment. In some places we do.
That way for our 50 jar.
You should have seen the first of it.
I like the way you graduated out the percentages each year.
That chart there,
That's the asset management plan.
Yes, yes.
Little water is done.
yeah, that's great.
Well, I like that. That's, yeah,
And y'all approved it, so you need to probably.
That's what they want.
that's already, did you say we have approved it
Y'all approved
already?
the asset management plan. You don't have to follow the rate exactly. We all read those rates and approved them.
Last year.
Cause we have to get in compliance. That's what this is about.
And if we don't, then we could lose out on,
You gotta remember, things change. So,
yeah, steady changing. All right,
think you want to.
so we're gonna take six in there for the budget workshop, so agenda item 6O. Council to discuss water and wastewater license incentive and take any action deemed necessary.
Budget two. Look at stuff, you wastewater. Higher looks. Two operators at the last day, report to the superintendent, approved the equipment operator, report to the superintendent, and 3 mechanics. Sean wants to have like operator 2, that'd be your B license, then 2 operator 1s hold your C license. What I want us to think about is what incentive can we give a non-operator, say a mechanic or true later, what incentive can we give them for going ahead and get their C license? So they're next up in line when one of these retire. And what incentive can you give for one of these guys, go ahead and get their B license? This guy retires.
Basically investing in education.
Yep.
Same thing we're doing with other departments. Same way you talked about doing with CDLs, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was at that meeting.
Another thing I'd like to have, a mechanic 1, if these guys ever retire, and I think they'll put up here, he can be a mechanic 1 his entire career. Even though he's doing the same work, probably harder, than some of these other guys, he's never had that room to get. So for water and wastewater, I'd like a mechanic 1 to automatically become a mechanic 2 after 1 year of service. Once they've completed all their training, and being recommended by their supervisor. Superintendent.
I think that's your podcast as well.
Yeah, we didn't make gas, so if you were really making changes, yeah, that was, the mechanic 1 to gas, that should apply to.
If I may, think of it like this, if you have a man in the department who's doing the exact same job as the other members of the crew, but he's not being paid the same amount as those members, what incentive does he have to stay with the city and want to work anymore?
That's not a real argument. I mean, I know it is to you. But, if you ever happen to get a business, you'll see that. It'll work. It will work.
At the mill, they had, mechanic progression, you had 7 steps of it, we only have 2. But you couldn't just sit at 1 forever, they didn't want you to sit at 1 forever. That means you weren't doing your training, you weren't growing in it, they want everybody to at least get to a 5.
Yeah.
6 and 7 or more for supervisor roles. But it's about being here for the time, doing the same work, getting the training, doing all that. You shouldn't be stuck with mechanic 1 just because this guy never leaves.
I don't disagree with you.
Problem is people are poaching our employees. We train them and they go elsewhere and make more money.
That's going all over.
You can't hardly get people to work anymore.
That too. And even though we have better benefits, but people right now are looking for the immediate ability to pay bills. And they're not worried about when retirement comes. And it is worth hanging in there for, but when your babies are squalling and the wife's saying you gotta earn more.
What's that saying about, you can invest in your people after they leave, but what if you don't invest them and they stay? Even worse.
You're gonna print this out for us, so.
I ain't wasting, I forgot to see it right there.
Or email it or something.
Wait,
Just waste a few bits of information and send it to us.
old school.
You'll have this at the workshop as well. Okay. Any more discussion on this? Agenda item 6. Approval of minutes from July 9th, 2024 regular session.
Move, I did accept.
Second.
Will did.
Vote.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodhouse?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Landry?
Yes.
Mayor Catchman?
Yes, city manager. Bill,
Bill.
John, you got anything else? Okay, city attorney?
I mentioned already, I'm going to that conference this week. Now also looking under as to the questions on regarding the agricultural program and zoning. I also just wanted to note, most people already probably know there's a rural economic development program being held tomorrow at BBTI, at 1 and 1:30. I think, again, we're all looking for ideas as to how to bring or attract businesses to our area, and it's free. So I just wanted to note that. Also, in the Manning and Sellers case, they did have the survey completed. If you remember from that case, we sold the parcel that their house has been on that was wrongfully placed. We sold that remaining parcel to them. And they surveyed the boundaries so that they can comply with the other part of the agreement, which is to put up a fence around the property. And what I could do is also, if it's helpful, have John or email you all that survey. And if you go down, we still retain the other part of the property the city does. So they have completed that. And I think those are my updates for now.
Thank you, ma'am.
Do we have ingress and egress to the property behind them?
To the property.
Should have.
Or is that,
Yes, yes, and it's also by statute.
okay.
Yes.
Danny, Carly,
Well, I'm working on FEMA stuff when I'm not training. It's really depressing. It's 11 months into it. We haven't gotten it. No, nobody else has either.
Tallahassee did.
Yeah, well, it's telling us. And that's for tornado. They didn't get hit by the hurricane. They have lobbyists. They have the governor living there.
anything, Carly?
Budget. Great.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Jamie?
I don't have anything, just.
Woo-hoo. Okay.
RB, I see you brought plenty of backup with you, so.
Yeah, I got my guys, I got my bag. Everything's going good, we still flushing the hydrants. Probably, how many more we got? Don't know. 2-3 more days, we should be done with the hydrants. Other than that, I really ain't got nothing else.
Congratulations on the grant.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
y'all for accepting it.
Very good.
Y'all replaced the fire hydrant out in Plantation area today?
Yes,
Okay,
water department.
okay.
I go take the water department stuff.
Huh?
I go take the water department stuff.
Great, you know I pay attention. All right, thank you.
Danielle?
Not a whole lot. We sold some surplus. We're trying to clean our compound up.
Okay.
We sold quite a bit of stuff already. We have 2 more pieces, 2 more trucks. They're
How are
supposed
you
to come
selling
in.
it?
On Gov Deals.
Gov
we're
Deals.
auctioning it.
That's where everybody's going out
It's legal,
online.
Bill. It's legal.
No, I just hear people, local people saying they're not giving us the opportunity.
Well, when they call us, we tell them
Yeah.
what they need to do.
So local people have got.
Yeah, we
stuff back
several, well, you local people purchased some.
Yeah.
Other than that, the paving's still going on.
How much do we lack on, how many streets are left on that? Did you run into a problem somewhere?
That's John. They told him that.
The problem is John?
No.
I think you only got like 200 grand left and all those streets y'all asked for last week, they're like 900 something thousand.
Right.
So I called DOT, they're gonna come do a survey of all the ones we asked for and give me a ranking them. Gotta go down the list, pick the worst ones. I don't wanna make anybody mad, but if I got proof in my hand,
Yeah, there was a lot of streets, that were not mentioned, that are in lots worse shape than what were mentioned.
yeah, there was some that have
And
been on
some
the
of
road
the
list.
streets. The dollar amount is very high, it's one street. Actually, two streets were both. Like $100,000.
Are constituents staying on the road or you got houses on that
I mean,
road?
some of these roads, one of them's like a neighborhood that we had them take a look at. It's behind Pizza Hut.
Uh-huh.
That whole area is
Mhm.
in bad shape.
Yeah, they still have the road they used to make out of the rocks.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
DOT was looking at all of the roads for us. We have a couple of roads, one right by the city park where the tree roots are,
Coming up.
causing like a buckle in the road there and on Bay Street. So, on Bay Street, it's really, you have to really slow down. You'll get it hard.
Speed bump,
Yeah, you're right.
oak tree.
But if
Then
you
they
don't
gonna
know
come
it's
to us to
there,
fix it.
you can, you'll get it
Bust it
hard.
up.
Yeah, it's not very noticeable till you're right there on top of it. But they've assured me that they can, if those are some of the streets we choose, the milling machine will build up the root and all.
What about the striping? Where does that money come from? Is it coming out of that same
Yes.
pot or,
Yeah.
cause I
Bid
think,
it out and y'all only bid it, we received prices for the lengths, but we were trying to wait until they finish on the paving where we can just start striping the downtown area.
well, I don't want us to wait too long because you have an accident. And they don't know who went over the center line or whatever, and you got a fuss, so I'd like to see us get it striped as soon as possible.
Anybody who's gonna pay with those big black lines, you see all the black tire marks everywhere, all those trucks driving around with the tar and whatnot.
Be wasted money.
Yeah.
All right.
What is this?
This
Only
was
what?
the fire hydrant being replaced on Plantation today.
Okay,
I know it's been leaking for 2 years at least.
One that John said was one of the two criteria before he wanted to retire as city manager. He wanted it.
Say the other one.
Who's taking the,
Yeah.
who doesn't have the shovel in their hand?
All right, Andrew,
Been over working on backhoe or something.
Andrew, Board Department, got anything?
That hydrant.
Thanks, Hydrant.
As it is right now, that hydrant, and I know we spoke at the last meeting about a Evoqua chlorination system for the new filters. There were some hiccups, they were not able to get it up and running that day. They are there today, they finished working on it, and we're going to start it tomorrow morning to make sure there are no bugs in the system. And they will be back tomorrow in case there are any issues, we will work them out. But hopefully everything goes smoothly, by the end of tomorrow, it will be working, everything should be functioning.
Okay.
hopefully.
John's trying to make me retire early, just so y'all know.
You already got 30 years.
No, it ain't, I could.
Keep going, my friend.
Uh,
All right, Sean,
and that was a judge.
Everything's going well. We did run across a situation, past week. We got lucky. There was a building off of Richard Bell asking for a service tap. The manholes are about 1,000 feet apart, so we didn't have the equipment to clean it, to camera it. We got lucky, we were able to just dig a trench across it and find a service that they could tie on to. But the issue was, if we did not find a service, main line was like 10 foot deep. There was a trench box approved in last year's capital outlay. I'm in the process of getting that now. I should have gotten it sooner. But,
That's the safety
Yes,
unit,
sir.
yeah.
trying to get a 6 foot tall, 10 foot long box that can go from 5 foot to 7 foot wide. So, you know, that is an issue. The distance between the manholes is also an issue because like I said, our jetter will only go about 500 feet. And, but other than that, I've got a few things for the storm, or one thing actually, for the storm I had to get prepared. It's an automatic sampler for Super Puff. It is hard getting vendors, getting people out. Danielle mentioned some smell at water, so we reevaluated that. We had Lance from Haywood come out, and none of this has been paid for yet. We got like a filter system at the top of the lift station, and now there's a blower that really kind of blows this fragrance into it. There's some doors that they made to close off the sealant, but, other than Danielle, nobody else smelled it. So,
I'm just the only one that will tell them.
well, it is a lot better. There might be lifts, and we did also find some kind of like a hole for the outside. There's a manhole outside the water that had some infiltration. We think some gas might be coming out of that. The guys fixed that today. We've had some people move up because we've had people, you know, pass away and then resign. But everything's working well. Don't have any questions?
I don't.
And I would say too, had an engine go out in a truck. Like it's an 04, 05 truck. I don't know the exact mileage on it, but I know it's had about 230 on the odometer since 2017. So we're hoping to get that replaced. We're trying to go, I've noticed too, and this is my opinion, bought a crew cab recently, and what's been good about that is 3 men can go to one job site instead of 3 men with one truck. Instead of 3 men going to 2 trucks with the regular cabs. So that's been good. That's good.
I mean, there's a lot more 4-door trucks around than there is 2-door these days.
You can still get regular cab, just like some of the system equipment we have, located equipment, things like that. If the guys bring their lunch or rain jacket, there's nowhere to put it in regular cab trucks.
Right.
Don't have it in the budget.
Very good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Garrett.
Gas department, we've been installing a lot of new services, obviously a lot of generators now, people don't always power again. Hurricane, installed probably at least 10 generators in the past 3 weeks. Not installing them, but on the gas. Installed a lot of new services, doing some disconnects. Been staying busy, more busy than we want to be.
Job security.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Parks Department, still waiting on the stuff, splash pad for this splash pad here, waiting on the electrician to help me fix the motor at the other splash pad. And the bathrooms are almost completely replaced in that certain splash pad. Just waiting on parts and help.
Okay.
Thank you. Landry. Swanita.
No, I have just a question. The fire hydrant, are y'all in Spring Heights subdivision yet?
The which one?
The Spring Heights over here off of 98 with Sandra and Joanne.
Alice Street.
Okay, it was, I think it's off of Susan. Fire hydrant leaning. Did we sit it back up?
We don't
So
do
how
that,
do
we
we-
just make a note of it.
Okay,
And
okay.
then we turn, after everything's done with, I'll turn in, I'll finish typing everything up and turn a list of the hydrant problems that we found into the city manager and to the water superintendent so they can let them know what all needs to be repaired.
Okay, I don't know if someone backed up on it or whatnot, but it's anyway, so.
If not
Just
the only
making
one.
you guys, I understand, I'm just making you guys aware. That's it for me.
Okay, Mr. Bill?
Yes. I've been looking at, some of the code enforcement issues. And I'm reading it, 14-107. It's got to do with the, duty of code enforcement officer. What it says is, if a violation of the code is found, the code enforcement officer shall notify the violator and give the person a reasonable time to correct the violation. Now, the problem with that is we don't have common sense. So reasonable time is right this minute. Then it goes on, and this is something we need to fix.
What are you reading from, Bill?
Code.
Okay,
It shall be unlawful for any person to store any inoperative motor vehicle or parts thereof on private or public property within the incorporated limits of the city, unless such a person is in possession of a current city business tax exempt receipt. What on earth? Then it goes, it shall be unlawful for any person to park, store, or leave or permit the parking, storing, or leaving of any motor vehicle which is wrecked, junked, partially dismantled, inoperative, or abandoned condition upon any property within the city for a period in excess of 5 days. So now we go from common sense to 5 days. Then we go on and, it goes to, it shall be the duty or his designee to give written notice to the registered owner of any vehicle which is in violation of this article, to give such notice to the owner, lessee, or person in possession of the private land where such vehicle is situated, where the identity of the registered owner is not really ascertainable, advising such person that such violation violates this article, and demanding that such motor vehicle be removed from the city within 72 hours. Well, we got the hammer down there now. So what brought this up was this individual that, apparently tagged for, 2 vehicles in the yard and gave them a 72-hour notice.
There's a sticker that goes on the vehicle, yes. It notifies them.
Yeah. You think that's reasonable?
It's all on the code.
So it's reasonable.
I agree with.
So it's reasonable. Come on.
That's the council's code.
I know.
You can change it at any time.
It
It was
says-
voted in 1983.
It says reasonable, and that's where you guys are lacking common sense.
It was voted in
Now-
1983. And
It doesn't matter.
If you want to change it, now's the time.
Doesn't matter. Reasonable. I don't need to, whoever you are.
Mr. Brian,
I was just curious what cars they were.
probably gonna be on Calhoun.
If it was in.
Calhoun, yeah.
Calhoun.
Yeah, they were on vacation when they got the 3-day
They
notice.
had 8.
What is in there?
So-
But now here's my question.
Yeah.
Why on earth did we put a 72-hour notice on and tow those 2 vehicles? That's what the code says. In your opinion. But go to the property where Barney Johnson used to live. That goes back to July and August of 23. Where's our hammer on that one?
We haven't gotten all of them yet, Bill.
That,
You know,
Jamie, that's been posted since July of
Yes.
23. You don't have to
You know, I remember when you first got back on, when you first got on the council, one of the first things you said, that we gotta do something about these vehicles.
That's exactly right. We're talking about a piece of property here.
And that's the,
But it's got nothing to do with the vehicle.
you talking about the property next to Barney's house?
Old house.
Yeah, we have tried to contact that property owner, we're not getting any response.
The ordinance, and I haven't looked at it, but I believe it gives direction as to what you do and how you do it, when and why.
It does.
Why are we not doing
And
that?
why have we not cleaned the property and have brought it to code and attached the lien yet? Is that the question?
Yeah.
In the past, there was a hiatus put on by previous councils that we won't do that. Because we didn't have
Well-
staffing to do it.
Well,
So we're following council's direction on not doing that.
meaning when there's a law
Not
and
this
it's
close.
followed somebody else's possession, you
But if you,
violating the law.
if you guys wanna change that hiatus and let's go back to doing it, then that's your direction. We're here to take your direction.
Whatever they,
You're gonna have to budget for it too, because if you
Yeah,
start
so-
hauling everybody off and then we're putting liens on the property, we're never gonna collect it.
I don't understand that.
And the property you're talking about, Bill, we don't have the equipment or the manpower to clean that property.
What does the ordinance say?
I think it does state you can hire someone, but if we have the budget for it.
Yeah, then we.
Yeah.
Y'all might need
We
to
got
budget
opinions,
more
but-
money.
So, it's my understanding, we wanna change that direction. So and I agree, we need to clean these properties. I agree.
It's just my opinion.
And if the council agrees as a whole, I'm good with it. But we were following what a previous council said, and until that's changed,
I understand
our
that.
direction is
And
that.
I agree with exactly what you're saying.
Can we bring that up in the next regular meeting, John?
You can bring it up at your budget workshop.
put it at the
because we're gonna
workshop.
bring some
It's
money
gonna be
up.
tied straight into budget. what we
Yeah,
do
so
on
put
budget.
that on the
That's
list.
fine.
But we'll do whatever we'll do what we're directed to do. And that's what we were doing.
Enforcing-
And I agree, Danielle doesn't have the number of people, so we got the contract.
Right. I understand that.
Your $3,000.
Fully understand.
We can spend $300,000 doing this. We can spend $300,000 cleaning up properties, abandoned cars, and
We can start with one.
But
we have a
look,
budget for it.
I asked in this room about these junk cars. I said, what we should do is send them a nice letter. I've never heard anybody else agree with that. But why won't you send them a letter telling them what the problem is, what they can do to remedy it? Common sense. I mean, I know we can get hammer them down and hammer them down, sure. But that's not the way to do things.
There's nothing wrong with being nice about it.
But
There's nothing wrong with being nice about it.
no,
Not a
there's
thing in
not.
the world. Until, now they go 4 or 5 times and don't listen,
But it takes real common sense to do that.
understand.
I will look at that procedure and I will address it.
Which
Tell you
one?
that. What you're talking about, it's confusion.
It's three, yeah.
There's three different opinions on what, and we'll,
Exactly.
so,
Yeah.
we probably need to clean that up.
There's probably more we need to. clean
Yes, sir, I
up.
agree. We need to clean that up. But in the interim, I will look into it and see that we can think a little bit. I will do that.
Good.
All right, anything else, Mr. Brown? Only thing I'm gonna ask about is how the computer system's coming, software update and all.
October first is when they push it back to now.
When?
October first, and that's just for payroll. Yeah, I know. I'm very disappointed.
Wow.
And that will just be payroll and financial reporting, and then, accounts receivable, I'll be later. I'm not sure about that date.
They started
It'll
getting,
probably depend on how.
is the hardware started coming in or?
Yes,
Got computers, but yeah. Need to be better.
we've got most of the hardware in. I'm gonna have to have some help setting it up. Basically, 'cause I can't do all of it. We're gonna have to find a solution for that.
Well, we can contract, I mean, that is Well, to come out of ARPA, that was all that. Get it up and running.
No, we had it set to the side.
I'm concerned about who's gonna be setting it up, because this is sensitive stuff, really, when we talk about getting into the accounting and everything else. You know, you gotta be very careful on who is touching your equipment. We have guidelines, we have to follow according to the FBI and FDLE. The city doesn't have those guidelines, so it's basically our policy on who's gonna touch our equipment.
And you got people sensitive information.
Exactly, protected information.
Hopefully some hacker won't get into it. That's what you gotta watch. They will, they will.
Be looking for somebody.
Anyway, that's all I had. We're-
Yeah, okay, you're right.
We're adjourned until next week.
You gotta go to work.
Do, I'm off for the next 2 days.
Good day.
Yes.
48 off and 96 on.
There you go.
Great, day in the morning.
Y'all, have a good one. Well.
I just wanna make sure.
I like your.
Well, you know, go to Grant revenue,
Yes.
the next number is gonna be the same.
Yes.
And then whatever the ARPA
But you're gonna have to contract with TPS.
is,
Yeah. We gotta get an edge.
ARPA reserve. If here, more than likely, there's nothing from the service. If there is, why are we not keeping that up?